All right, guys. So today we're going to be checking out a new pair of true wireless earbuds from Final Audio. Now, we have seen some of their earbuds in the past, but both of the ones that I've checked out before have come in at about $350. So the pair that we're checking out today, which is the ZE3000SV, I was very curious to check it out because this one only comes in at $99. So it's just shy of $100. And when it's coming from a more audiophile type company that focuses on IEMs and some very expensive headphones, it kind of catches your attention to what can they do with a pair that's under $100. Now, with this being the ZE3000SV, there is actually a ZE3000 model that has already come out. And really what they've done here to make these different is they have added active noise canceling on the SV model. This one now supports LDAC playback, and they are using a larger driver than what was in the original ZE3000. So already they've made some pretty nice improvements, and these actually come in retailing cheaper than what the ZE3000 did. So first off, let's talk about the design of these. You can see right here, this is a very tiny case. In fact, this is extremely small. Now, the pair that I've been using a lot lately is the Soundcore AeroFit 2. You can see the huge difference in the cases here, but obviously the AeroFit 2 is a different style of earbud. But even comparing it to the case of the Bose Quiet Comfort 2s, again, it is noticeably smaller. Now, the case and the earbuds do have this texture on them. It's very easy to grip the case. It's very easy to grip the earbuds. This is something that we've seen on the other Final Audio earbuds that we've checked out, so nothing new here. This pair does use touch controls, and I am happy to say that out of the box, you get control over everything. So that right there is a huge plus. Now, some things that I do want to point out about these is Final Audio developed a new driver for these, one specific for these, called the F-Core SV drivers. Now, this is the 10mm driver. Again, the ZE3000, the original model, only had a 6mm driver, so a larger driver in here. And they're also using an F-Link port. Basically, it's a design where they have the driver sitting in this little chamber that's allowing this 10mm driver to have more space inside the earbud. Like, the battery and everything is located on the back side, so it's not trying to share room inside of the earbud itself. And this definitely is something that affects the audio, which we will talk about a little bit later. As far as some of the tech specs on here, it does have Bluetooth 5.3. It does support multi-point connection, so you can connect to more than one device at a time. Again, like I said, it does have LDAC playback, which it automatically is on by default. There is a low latency mode, which you can turn on within the app. And also within the app, you can keep these updated. There are some EQ options. It does even have a 7-band EQ, so you can just kind of customize these and dial it in the way that you want. And outside of that, the only other thing within the app, which you can also do on the earbuds, is switch it between the noise canceling mode, the noise canceling off, and then the ambient mode. So they have different listening modes. And with saying that, let's go ahead and talk about the noise canceling on these. Now, they call it Comfort ANC, and they're doing that for a reason. If you've ever used noise canceling headphones, if you've ever used noise canceling earbuds, a lot of people don't like them because of the pressure that it causes, basically like a vacuum suctioning feel. And this is what usually helps isolate you from all of the sounds around you. And the Comfort ANC that is on the ZE3000SVs is nowhere near as effective as normal noise canceling. It's basically just kind of like standard noise canceling, so it's doing a good job of blocking out engine noises, AC units, anything that really just kind of has that lower rumble to it. But anything that has a normal frequency, like me talking or a TV being on, you're really going to hear it within the earbuds about the same way you would any kind of earbud. So don't go into these wanting like next level noise canceling. It's really there just to kind of do the job when you need it. But I will say, when I switch from off to noise canceling, another huge advantage with these earbuds is there's not a huge difference in what it's doing to the sound quality. So you don't see, the sound quality start to dip. You don't see the volume drop. You don't see that it starts to get a little more bloated, which is what I've noticed with other earbuds. It pretty much sounds almost identical going from noise canceling on to noise canceling off. So they did a really good job with this. And the ambient mode is fine. It's not anything special. This isn't a a feature that I would compare to like, say, the AirPod Pros, but it will allow you to carry on a conversation or hear your surroundings and not have to take your earbuds out. Another feature and another option within these earbuds is it has a wind cut mode. So it will cut out any kind of wind noise, which if you're familiar with earbuds, especially earbuds with noise canceling, if it's a windy day, sometimes those mics will pick those up into other earbuds, and it will affect the listening that you're getting out of your earbuds. And so that's nice that these have the ability to cut that out altogether. Now, if you are going to use these outdoors, it does come in with an IPX4 rating, so it's not waterproof. It's basically just fine against splashes and rain and sweat and things like that. But this is definitely not one that you would want to drop into water. Now, as far as what all they've included in the box, you actually get 5 sets of silicone ear tips, and they're saying the pair that they've included are the Edge style series, basically a Type E silicone ear tip, and this is made to elevate the low end a little bit. It's also made to stay in your ears a lot more securely, and it's not going to move around as much. So they aren't just putting some cheap silicone ear tips in there and just moving on. These are actually pretty decent compared to what normally comes with the earbuds. Now, surprisingly, and I've seen this before, so it's not like this is the first company to do this, is they did not include a USB-C cable, which is the cable that you would need to charge these. I think they're just relying on the fact that a lot of people have USB-C cables already, but I don't like the decision to not have the cable included in the box. But speaking of the charging, battery life on these are actually very impressive, especially because it says with the noise canceling on, you can get 7 hours out of the earbuds and about 28 hours using the case. Now, it does not say the battery life with the noise canceling off. And also to keep in mind, if you use the LDAC, you're going to lose quite a bit of battery life there. So do keep that in mind, but still using these with noise canceling and getting 7 hours is pretty nice, because that's going to get most people through a full workday. But if you do happen to pick these up and they are dead, it does have a fast charging feature where a 15-minute charge will get you about 2 hours of use. So if you're going to use the ZE3000 SVs for taking phone calls, I think they did a pretty decent job here. I would definitely not say it's the best mic quality that I've heard, but everything comes through very clear, and I think it does a pretty decent job of blocking out my surroundings. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. So here is a quick mic test outside using the Final Audio ZE3000 SVs. It's not really a windy day. I don't really hear a whole lot of noise out here, but this is just to give you an idea of what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's talk about the sound. And this is the huge selling point on these earbuds, and this is what kind of separates it from other earbuds. I feel like they took a more analog approach. They're not relying so much on the processing of the sound to be amplified with different kind of technology. That's why they focused on making sure the driver had a lot of room and a lot of space to kind of be able to bounce the sound off of, because this is a very spacious sounding earbud while still sounding extremely detailed. Now, when it comes to the low end, don't expect like subwoofer type bass, but don't think that it comes in like thin on the bass either. It has this nice aggressive punch to it, but it's still very fast. I still feel like it's sub bass. It does pull it out some, but it just doesn't allow it to get sloppy. It just doesn't come in and roll over everything else. The mids on these, I think, did a very good job. You can tell that they wanted to push these a little bit forward. Male and female vocalists had really nice detail to it. You can hear a lot of characteristics. So I never had any issue with hearing vocals and certain instruments depending on what genres I was listening to. And the treble on these are right up to the point of being bright. So it has this nice sparkle to it, but it's held back just enough so that it doesn't get harsh. It's not like overly aggressive on that end, but it is bumped up enough that you're hearing a lot of subtle details. Everything has this nice clean approach to it. And going back to them being as open as they are, it basically makes the soundstage and the sound imaging very, very impressive on this pair. This is where I would put these really comparable to like the Sennheiser Momentum earbuds. I always felt like those had some really nice space to them, and this is very comparable to that. And that says a lot, because the Sennheiser Momentums, I believe, are $300 or maybe they're $350. You have to go back to the price of the SE3000 SVs only being $100 or $99. So my overall opinion is this. It's not going to win you over when it comes to the looks or the design. I mean, it's about as bland as it can be. I do like the textured grip on everything. That's a nice touch, but there is no Qi wireless charging on this pair. There's no smart sensors. The noise canceling's not that great. So really the huge selling point on these is going to be the sound quality. That is what makes these stand out. It's what's giving you something different because it sounds more close to an IEM than what other earbuds that's trying to over process your music. It almost could actually fool some people probably to think that this is being wired straight into a device because it's that clean. It's not as compressed sounding as everything else, and this could be the LDAC, but again, it's also having to do with the way that these are tuned, the drivers that they're using, so you can tell that there was a lot of focus on making these sound a lot more natural than other earbuds. But guys, that's my video on the Final Audio ZE3000 SVs. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos, and as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.